folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, we're sending a lot more money to Ukraine. Joe Biden announced today that on top of what we've already committed to send Ukraine in financial aid or just in supplies, we're sending an additional $800 million in war weaponry, including armed tactical drones. We're getting inching, little by little, a little bit closer to World War III, the more and more we do this. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, though, and I want to talk about that because there's some things that's not necessarily in the news that I want to cover that I think is quite important. I wanted to show you guys a T-shirt. This is a good friend of ours that makes these. I don't know how well you can see it. And they make them themselves. They're very good quality for you Torah observant folks. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down in the description below. They're really good people, and just wanted to pass it on to you folks. Now, another big thing in the news today is the Federal Reserve came out and raised the rates 0.25%. We were all expecting that, so it's not too shocking. But the interesting thing is according to the information online, is that in every meeting scheduled this year for the Fed, they have penciled in federal interest rate hike. And they expect to raise the interest rates between 6 and 9 times this year alone. If we're not in a recession right now, most likely we will be put into recession. Of course, Jerome Powell is trying to reassure everyone and says that, hey, by the end of this year, we will have inflation under control. It'll be down to pretty normal levels. They're quite confident of that. Of course, we'll be paying ridiculously high interest rates by that time, but maybe the inflation rate will be down. I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen, and I'm not too confident in what they say is going to happen. I'm still holding out, as many of you are, that they're just going to try to play the system out just long enough so that they can flip us over to a digital currency that they've been talking about so much. Kind of do that little Indiana Jones thing. We flip the sandbag as you're taking the whatever out of it. You know what I'm talking about. That's what I think is going to happen. And right now, it's just a little game to keep things drawn out as long as they can, to give them time to get this digital currency up and running and ready to take over. Other things in the news, and this is a couple of things that I want to talk about, shift gears back towards food, because food is important. And we've been talking about that on this channel a lot, and so has just about everybody else here on YouTube. We're all talking about it, and I'm sure that many of you are just sick and tired of it. I don't want to hear about how food supplies are going to be just so low and so bad, and others may not think it'll be that bad. I think that it will. I think that we are headed into biblical level shortages and famine. In fact, I believe it was last year that the United Nations even said that we're heading into biblical level food shortages, biblical level. And with everything that's going on between Russia and Ukraine, I think it's just, it's not the thing that's going to do it. It's just the thing that's exacerbating an already big problem, where global food reserves are really low. Pretty much China owns half of the food. They're just keeping it, hoarding it up for themselves, while the rest of the world, and most especially the United States, just seems to not care anymore about having any type of strategic food reserve. We just give it away anymore. But things are getting worse. And here's an article here from The Economist. Now, what does it matter that this article is in The Economist? There's all kinds of articles and all kinds of publications. Personally, whatever is said in The Economist, I always give it a little bit more weight. The Economist is a very old publication, but the big thing is The Economist is owned by some of the wealthiest British families, including the Rothschilds, and they're quite known for their dramatic covers that are very often predictive of what's going to come. So when something comes out in The Economist, then I usually listen to it pretty well. So here's this article here talking about how the Russia-Ukraine War is just going to make the whole food crisis even worse. That it could very well push us off the the cliff. Interesting in the article though, we've talked about, and I know you've already heard this because I've said it, and just about every other YouTuber has said it, that between Russia and Ukraine, they make up approximately close to 1/3 of the world's wheat supply. And I know you've heard that, but both also produce a lot else. And in fact, between Russia and Ukraine, and especially if you add in, a few countries like Belarus and Moldova, which are very much part of what's going on, maybe not directly, but indirectly. If you add all that together, that is really the world's breadbasket. It's where a massive amount of food is produced. In fact, so much so, The Economist says that 12% of the world's calories that are produced in food. Now that's pretty significant. 12% of all the calories produced for food come from Ukraine and Russia. So between just Ukraine and Russia, of all the food that's produced on the planet, 12% of those calories come from Ukraine and Russia. They both produce a lot, potatoes and corn and sugar and all kinds of stuff, different types of cooking oils. This is pretty significant, folks. I mean, this is going to hurt us a lot. And I know I've been talking about this for like a couple of weeks now. And some of you are probably just sick and tired of it by now. But this is significant. Something else that happened in the news just a little bit earlier before making this video is in the news that a large Walmart distribution center has gone up in flames up in Indiana. And you can get online and there's some pretty dramatic video and footage of this absolutely massive fire. It's a 1.1 million square foot warehouse that it appears from the video footage that nearly the entire thing has gone up in flames. In fact, so much so that the National Weather Service is reporting that they can see the smoke from satellite, from weather satellites. They're picking it up. This is pretty significant. Now, is this the end all be all thing? No, but I think this is another Evergrande stuck ship in the Suez Canal, which I might add that was it yesterday or the day before, on the 1-year anniversary of that stuck ship, another Evergrande ship was run aground, but that was up in Chesapeake Bay, and it didn't really cause any congestion. It didn't, ships were still able to get around it. But here we go. We've got this massive warehouse distribution center for Walmart. And in the United States, I don't know the figure, but Walmart must account for a massive chunk of the supply chain, whether it be food or other goods. Again, I don't know the number, but I'm going to assume that Walmart controls quite a large chunk. And while this one distribution center and all of the stuff inside of it, and I might add, the last that I saw, that there were reported no injuries, that everyone was able to get out alive and doing okay, which is good. But from the looks of it, I would say that it's probably a total loss between the fire, the smoke, and the water being put on it. I can't imagine too much in that warehouse being usable at all. So is that one warehouse going to completely destroy our supply chain? It's going to cripple us? No, it's not. Just like in the same way that one stuck ship over in the Suez Canal was not enough to cause everything to just come crashing down. It was enough to put a speed bump in it. But more so, a lot of people believe it was very symbolic and significant in being the thing that catapulted the whole supply chain problem into where we're at now. Could this be that same thing? I'm not saying that it is, but I will say that it's pretty strange. I mean, this is a massive, massive fire. Reports online, or people are seeing it in cities, surrounding cities. They can see the flames and the smoke. Even someone over on TPH Network, a family member lives in that town and was posting pictures that was being sent to her. This is huge, okay? It's a very large fire. A lot of money is being lost, and at least regionally, their supply chain is going to feel it probably for a few days regionally. The point is, though, we keep having this kind of stuff happen. I mean, just a few weeks ago, a big fertilizer plant went up in smoke, and we're in the midst of the worst fertilizer shortage in history, where the prices have skyrocketed, have tripled and quadrupled in prices in places, and 60% of the fertilizer supply comes from Russia, and we're not getting it anymore. So we're under a real crunch of a fertilizer shortage, and then all of a sudden, a big fertilizer plant goes up in smoke, and here we are dealing with really serious food shortages and supply chain crunch, and a very, very large distribution center goes up in flames. Is it just a coincidence, or is this controlled? I can't definitively say, but I can tell you the same thing that I've been telling you for quite a while. I don't really believe in coincidences much anymore. And that's about all I'll say on that. But folks, I'm telling you, you need to get stocked up. Just on a personal note, yesterday, my wife and I, we went and we stocked up. We actually, there's a place here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it because some of you are local. In Kabul, Missouri, there is a Mennonite owned and ran discount and bulk food, grocery food store. And they have some real, I'm not going to say they're the best prices, but we don't have to drive hours to get there. But their prices are really good, and you can really stock up. Now their supplies are their shelves were much more bare than they've ever been. I mean, they didn't have the supply that they used to, but it was still enough for us to stock up. Now, did we absolutely have to? I feel yes, and the reason why I feel yes is even though we have a comfortable food supply, we have family members that we know that things got bad, we would have to feed children that have moved out and things like that. And we eat the food that we buy, so we know that it's not like it's really going to go to waste. We're smart about what we're buying. We're not buying something that's only going to last 2 or 3 weeks or a couple of months, and that's how you should be doing it. You should be seeking out places that you can purchase. Another place that we purchase from, and for any of you that live near this, do some research, calling around. A lot of times the internet's gonna help you on this one, and that's the Amish. Amish, Mennonite, Quakers. A lot of times those communities have little stores within their communities that they sell things, and a lot of times they sell in bulk because the Amish buy in bulk a lot. They buy a lot of whole grains. And you can buy from them. And usually, because their overhead is less, a lot of these stores, at least in Missouri, a lot of these stores are just buildings on the family property, and the family's running the building, running the store. And most of the ones I've gone to, they don't even have electricity because they're Amish. They don't have electricity, so their overhead is really low, and they're able to pass on the savings onto you. And so we went to the one that we normally go to, and it's a real small one, and they don't keep a lot in stock, but it's really good to order. You can order from them. And we placed an order, buying things like some more wheat. We bought dried peas, we bought some rice, we bought sugar, we bought a few other things. These are dry goods in 50-pound bags, and in going through them, we paid anywhere between 30 and 50% less than what I could find was a going price. So that's another tip on places to buy. And with all the stuff that's going on, and when I spoke to the man, the Amish man that runs this business, and we've become very good friends. We talk often, and we went in the back warehouse office area, and he said it's crazy, and he knows a little bit. They keep up a little bit on news, so he knew a little bit, and I kind of filled him in on some rest. He said it's crazy the amount of food that people are trying to purchase. He said people are really trying to buy a lot. He says, and our suppliers are telling us that they're running out. He said they're having a hard time filling orders. He said he said I've never seen it like this, and I've done this for years. So I'm telling you, folks, you need to get serious about this. Don't get caught off guard. Because it's foolish to be caught off guard after watching videos like this all the time. You have to know that things are serious. When people all around the world, when something like this here, this is a, I think I mentioned it in the earlier video today. It's one of the top grocery CEOs is telling people they need to stock up. You need to stock up because food prices are going to skyrocket by this summer. He said, and you're not going to be able to afford it. And so a lot of foods that you can stock up and store, he says, you need to do it. It's in this article. It came out this morning. Take it serious, folks. Everything on the horizon, every signal, everything that's going on between the devaluation of our dollar, the global reserve currency dropping the U.S. dollar, the food shortages, you know, all kinds of stuff, you know, the fertilizer shortages, everything that's happening. There's nothing to indicate that this is going to just go away soon. Everything indicates that we're in this for the long haul, and we have not yet peaked yet on how bad it's going to be. So take this serious, take this time, if you can this week. You know, a lot of things that I tell you on here, I don't tell you that you need to do it immediately. This is one of those things I would. If you are capable, if you have the finances, and I'm not saying going out and dropping thousands of dollars, but if you could go out and you could buy maybe $200, if you could buy $200 in canned goods, that's quite a bit. I know that's tough for some of you not so tough. But I'm telling you, if you wanted my personal direct advice, I would do this as soon as you're able to, and keep doing it as often as you're able to. All right, folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.